Oh yeah, we do them live now. It's
Yeah.
on YouTube, right?
Yeah. I just hit the go button. We'll see if people show up.
Where is? No, I don't want that. Switch account.
Okay. We are live. But
We are live. All right.
nobody's saying anything.
Oh boy.
I mean, I guess what happens when you don't announce it, you just fucking just go.
Can't you
There's
create a Zap?
Taylor. What's up,
Can't you
Taylor?
create a Zapier?
Uh I mean I can, but like we usually record on Wednesdays.
Oh, that's right.
So it's like if I did it, it would be like, "Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in." Yeah,
We
if I
should get
if
something that reads our minds.
yeah, I mean,
That would be so awesome if somebody could just read my mind and do what I needed to do.
yeah. Hey Jordan, hey Paul. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like if so the bad thing is like you can't automate Patreon. It's
Yeah.
so weird. It's like they have a Patreon thing for Zapier, but all they do, they have webhooks that say when somebody pledges, new pledge, updated pledge, or deleted pledge, and that's it. They don't allow you to like make new posts or anything like that, which would be really cool. Like, oh dang, Taylor, sorry to hear about that. Hopefully your gallbladder is, or at least you're okay. Your gallbladder, fuck that thing, but uh, hopefully you're okay. The
Real
yeah. So
nice man.
anyway, it's very well that and plus with Zapier, I had to make my own custom integration because it wasn't pulling in the data that we needed for doing what we had to do in the back end. So I've got all this custom code that I wrote for it. So it's very fragile.
Just like our spreadsheet.
Actually, that thing's rock solid
Yeah.
until you mess up a like one cell.
Yep. Fat thumbs.
All right, let me figure out this one last one. It's a kind of a cool one. Uh, let's
Oh,
see.
Chris Wiedmer says hi. Do you know him?
Yes, of course.
He reached
He's
out to me.
from Party Horses and all. Yeah, we used
Yeah,
to
yeah.
have our kids at the same daycare.
He reached out because he heard we were doing this raffle or whatever, and so he wanted to donate some bottles from their Maker's Pick and their Bland's Pick.
Oh, nice.
Very nice guy. First time I talked to him, it was
Yeah, yeah. He's one to talk to us about because I know they wanted to start kind of getting their own thing, like either buying barrels or doing their own brand or something like that too. Alan's asking he needs lawn treatment in Charlotte, Ryan.
5,000 for my time to come there.
And a PJ to get you there.
I'll make a PDF
Yeah,
for 10,000.
there you go. Actually, don't isn't that what a lot of like YouTubers do?
Yeah, there's this guy like actually Alan. There's this YouTuber. His name's Pete with GCI Turf. He's in he's in North Carolina, and he actually knows what he's talking about. He just talks like that. So he's a good resource for all things grass. I like him.
There you go. Turf
He
management is
he's what I
fine.
should be. Instead, I'm an in debt bourbon podcaster.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, but then you'd have
Where
to.
do you see the? Is it in the chat? No.
You not have the chat?
How do you see the comments within Riverside?
You don't. I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
in.
You just go to YouTube.
Yeah, that's what
That's
I
fine.
do.
Yeah.
Okay.
It throws me off because like it's delayed on YouTube, so it
Yeah.
messes me up.
Well, yeah. It's like if people put in the chat in the Riverside, it wouldn't really be. Well, I mean, I'm overthinking things. Let's just get started.
All right, let's get started.
All right. It's This Week in Bourbon. Actually, I think I've already used that one, the Who's Who of Bourbon News.
I can't remember. I'm
I
sure
feel,
nobody will remember.
I feel like it's like The Simpsons. It's like, how many random openings can I do? Um, there we
This Week in Bourbon, where, yes, there's still news.
go. There we go. Yep, 2 weeks later, we still got Bourbon News. All right, that's a good one. All right, there we go. It's This Week in Bourbon, or yep, 2 weeks later, and we've still got Bourbon News. And here's your headlines for April 14th, 2023. Campari Group plans to add a second distillery at its Wild Turkey campus in Lawrenceburg. Sotheby's has unveiled the rare American whiskey selection. And Father Jim Sicko has marked the 10-year anniversary of his election of Pope. Fuck. Let me start that over. Father, is it Sicko? Sick, Sichko?
Secco?
Sicko? Sicko. I'm going to try it. Sichko? I don't want to mess this up. This dude's a priest.
Well, he'll forgive your sins.
Okay, there you go. All right. One last time here. I'm going to say shit. I was about to say shitco. All right. Sichko. All right. It's This Week in Bourbon, where, yep, even 2 weeks later, we still got Bourbon News. And here's your headlines for April 14th, 2023. Campari Group plans to add a second distillery at its Wild Turkey campus in Lawrenceburg. Sotheby's has unveiled the rare American whiskey selection. Jim Sitchko has marked the 10-year anniversary of the election of Pope Francis with the rare release of a 10-year Willet. But before we get started, here's a quick word from our partners. Welcome back, everybody. It's This Week in Bourbon coming at you after a little bit of a hiatus. Ryan and I took last week off, which I don't know. I kind of enjoy it. You know, we take a little bit of a break. We go enjoy some time with our families, do the spring break thing. I'm glad that we've got our other podcast, Behind the Pursuit, to fill the void while we're gone, which if you're not paying attention to that, you're not subscribing, you're missing out on a lot of good things. So make sure you tune in over there too.
Yeah, you can hear about us failing forward and whining and moaning and just needing therapy, having like whiteboard sessions, but on a podcast. So it's just like, but it's fun. We love talking about it. I love sharing our story. I think it's an interesting behind the scenes look at what it really takes to be in the bourbon business. It's a pain in the ass. So come join the pain in the ass.
You're right. I do kind of like it because for us, a lot of our time, like we spend every waking second of it's either go, task oriented, some sort of thing. And we don't really take a lot of time to sit there and brainstorm either topic, new ideas, figure out what's on the horizon, plan, all that sort of stuff. And so what we're doing is we're basically documenting that whole process when we do it. So I do enjoy that we can kind of let people see an inside sort of glimpse into what we're doing. And I even more that I like about doing that is that we get solicitations from other people who say, I really like this, but here's another thing that you all can think about. And, you know,
the feedback's been,
it's amazing.
And it's been so valuable. And we've got a ton of great ideas from our audience. So keep that coming because, yeah, we're two idiots just trying to make it. So we need all the help we can get.
For sure. And before we get started, we got two announcements to kind of first talk about. First is just upcoming stuff where Ryan and I are going to be. Ryan is, well, currently he's recording in Louisville right now, but he's going to be in Colorado for the next few days. Kind of give people an idea of where they can find you.
Yeah, so today's Friday, so I would have been in Denver yesterday at trade show, but also at 7 Grand Whiskey Bar. So we had a great time. I'm assuming. And
thank you everybody that came out. It was great shaking hands.
Out. And then I'm in. If you're listening to this in the morning, I'm en route to Estes Park, where we'll be doing a tasting meet and greet, just casual. Taste you through our United lineup. I'm bringing some Oak Collection with me to try people on. Also have the flagship Black Label Bourbon and Rye. So come see me at the Stanley Hotel. It's where The Shining was shot. They did a single barrel, a rye barrel with us, and it was amazing. And I think they have a few left. So I'm excited to go there and share the story with people in Estes Park. So
yeah, I remember when we actually had that barrel done. somebody had actually, I believe it was somebody at Bardstown Bourbon Company reached out. They're like, "Holy crap, this is amazing!" And I was like, "What are you talking about? It's just a hotel." They're like, "No, no, no, no! Like, I'm a huge horror buff film. Like, this is really awesome." And I had to. That's when I found out about it. So it's pretty cool. Oh, we lost you somehow. One of your audio. Oh, you're on mute. That's
Oh,
why.
sorry. So, The Shining was shot there. To be honest, I've never seen The Shining, so I'm not a.
I don't like horror movies, so
I
I'm
don't
with you.
either. Like unless it's like so bad it's good, like Scream or something. you know, like or Nev Campbell was in it or Jennifer Love Hewitt. Um, but anyways, moving forward, we're
Moving
going to
forward.
Estes Park. So see you there tonight, 4 to 7, happy hour meet and greet if you're in the Denver Fort Collins area. Yeah, and then what do
Something in
we?
Northern Kentucky you got going on too.
Oh yeah, the following weekend. Jeez, we got a lot going on. So the following weekend on Friday, which I believe is the 21st, I will be at Goodfellas in Covington area. So if you're in the northern Kentucky or Cincinnati area, please come hang out at Goodfellas in Covington. I will be there doing just a happy hour meet and greet, pouring samples. We'll have some cocktails and stuff. Details to be ironed out, but I definitely will be there. And I believe that's 5 to like 7 ish. I'll update the Instagram, but I believe it's around 5 to 7.
Right on. Perfect.
Yeah.
And then on May 10th, if you're in Owensboro and you happen to be part of the Owensboro Bourbon Society, I will be there doing a presentation to them. So if you are part of the society, make sure you don't miss that meeting. Love to be.
Yeah, and one more thing,
Yep.
since you're already into May, um, I will be in Atlanta um, on May 11th. Gosh, and I'm pulling up my email, and here it is. Yes, the place that we're probably going to do an event is called, geez, why am I going? Oh, Local 3. Local 3 there in Atlanta. Samara Davis with the Black Bourbon Society. She's been gracious enough to help us set up in a meet and greet kind of happy hour event there. It's not just for them; it's for everyone to come. So, but she's been gracious enough to set something up there. So I'll put more details out there. But mark your calendars for Thursday, May 11th. That's the 11th, right?
Yep. Yep. And so we'll postpone any other announcements until we get closer to Derby. But and we got a lot of stuff going on, so hopefully y'all can come and check it out too. But before we get kicked off, I know Ryan, you have another thing you want to talk about. I know this week has been very difficult for a lot of people in Louisville. I'm sure everybody's seen on the news about another mass murder, and it kind of hit home for Ryan. So I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah, it's a tough. It's been a really hard week for, like you said, the city, the state, the country. We've been dealing with this a lot, but when it hits in your hometown and then it hits, a friend of yours, Josh Barrick, who was a friend of mine, met at my son's school, Holy Trinity. I've gotten to know him over the past couple of years. Our sons have played basketball together and really have developed a friendship, but he was tragically lost in the mass shooting, Monday in downtown at the Old National building. And it's just senseless and very sad. And, it's hard to wrap your head around it. But the good thing is the community's been really, just risen to the occasion per usual. I'm working with I've been on the phone with a ton of people in the bourbon industry uh, and how we can support Josh because he's left, 2 kids. He has a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old, and his wife. So we're working we're gonna have a really cool bourbon auction, bourbon raffle that we're working on. Details to be released later, but we got all the distilleries have stepped up. I can't thank them enough. And if I haven't reached out to you and you're like wondering why, I just been on the phone with a ton of different people. So if you're a distiller that wants to get involved and just reach out to us, I've just been trying to do the best I can in such short time, but just really tragic and can't express how sad we are as a community here. And it's just this senseless violence has got to stop. I don't know what it's going to take, and it's a bigger problem than I'm smart enough to, you know, have the answers. It's just terrible, and that this, I talked to you, Kenny, about this, and this whole bourbon thing is just all a blessing to me. And obviously, we've worked hard and gone where we are, but we've gotten here through a lot of just great relationships and great people, and it's almost like a divine intervention. And so I want to use this platform for the greater good of the community and anything we can do to help make this situation better. And so this is our opportunity to do that. And so as the bourbon community always has, they've always risen to the occasion. Um, we're going to step up and provide financial assistance for their family through this charity raffle that we're working on. We're hoping to have it ready by April 25th. So just probably about 10 days from now, but just ironing out all the details, and we'll announce that as soon as we can. And so thank you all. Everybody's been sending messages and prayers from Discord. Can't thank the Discord family enough. Our Discord group, and messages from fans just checking in on us in the city. So thank you all for checking in on us. Can't thank you enough.
Yep. Yep. And thank you, Ryan, for putting this together. I know it's definitely a lot of hours and everything that goes into it to make it all happen. And looking forward to making sure that we can do what we can to help Josh's family out in this time of need.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, we'll try to reset a little bit and talk about some bourbon news here.
Let's do it.
Yeah, all right, here we go. So the first one, it's a little bit of a doozy. So the Federal Trade Commission, they have begun an antitrust investigation into Southern Glazer's Wine and Spirits. And this is reviewing on how the nation's largest alcohol beverage distributor may have favorably priced wine and liquor that advantaged large retailers. And this is again according to Politico. And this is also citing 3 anonymous sources with knowledge of the probe. The price discrimination investigation comes 5 months after regulators from the Alcohol Tax and Trade Bureau, otherwise known as the TTB, and the IRS raided Southern Glazer's Union City and California offices. 5 California small wine retailers filed a lawsuit against Southern Glazers in June of 2022, alleging that the multi-state distributor offers lower prices to larger retailers, according to Wine Industry Insights. The complaint was filed on behalf of Newport-based Beached Newport Wine and Spirits, Chula Vista-based Sunset Market and Liquor, and Lakeside-based Times Market and Liquor, Oceanside-based Mike's Liquor and Market, and Santee-based Santee Market and Liquor, and that's set to go in trial in December of 2023. The plaintiffs claim that Albertsons was selling 750 milliliter bottles of Johnny Walker Black for $19.99, while Southern Glazers sold them the same product at $22.25. The FTC investigation revealed today centers on possible violations of the Robinson-Patman Act, which bars suppliers from offering favorable pricing to larger retailers at the expense of smaller stores. Additionally, Southern Glazers is being scrutinized for potential unfair, deceptive, or anti-competitive business practices in violation of Section 5 of the FTC Act. Southern Glazers may not be alone in the probe, as the FTC is reportedly seeking broad information on the sale of wine and alcoholic beverages by wholesalers and retailers across the U.S.
So wait a minute. Southern was selling this store for 22 and they were selling it at 19?
So
Is that
Albertsons, who's the retailer, they were selling, and Albertsons is a very large kind of like grocery store chain, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They were selling the bottles for $19.99, while Southern Glazers was selling these sort of small mom and pop shops, selling them the bottle at $22.25, which then they have to mark up another 25-30% to make their margin. And so here's the thing: is that
this happens in every other.
Well, that's the thing.
Costco
I was like,
or Kroger, or if you go to Kroger's versus Paul's, there's a big difference because of the volume.
Well, that's what I thought too, and that's what I was like. I thought this is the way it always was. It's like, yeah, you get favorable pricing if you buy, 50 cases versus if you buy 1 case. I thought that was basically why Total Wine is able to do what they're able to do, and as well as a lot of other big chains versus small mom and pops, because they can buy in bulk and they save. I just thought that's what it was. I didn't think this was unfair, deceptive, or anti-competitive business practices, but who knows?
Yeah, because in other industry, any other market, it's like when I buy fertilizer, if I buy a truckload of it, it's, my price per bag's like $17. If I buy it per bag, it's like $25, So it's like that in every other industry, but FBI ain't showing up at my fertilizer shack.
I mean, it's like you need to go buy new tires. You buy 3, you get the 4th one free, right? So it's like you got to at least get to that point.
Yeah, I'm not sure on this because I don't want to discount, mom and pop stores. They're very important to this industry, but it seems like though too, mom and pops have to. You can't like. The reason I shop or do business with those is not because of the price. It's just because I get a better experience. With the staff, they provide me good recommendations and whatnot. Now, if I'm going to like buy the cheapest, which I don't pay. I'm a terror. I don't price shop. I go for what's convenient. you know, I'm not one of those people that drives around town to save $1 because it wasted my. Not that my time's valuable, but
I'm
I,
one of
I
those people that'll drive a few miles to save a dime on a gallon of gas.
yeah, and then you're like, you realize you saved like $1.10, and you wasted an hour, so you really spent $100.10.
I grew up that way. My mom was frugal, and I grew up that way, and that's just how I think.
Well, there's one currency we're all equal in, and that's time. And so that's you got to use it. I'm just not a value shopper, but I get it. People are they like a deal, but yeah, I
That's
don't
why
understand this. I don't understand this.
that's why I sent you a message earlier with a deal on fire-rated drywall on Facebook Marketplace, and I was like, "Ooh, what do you think? Save like $5 a board." And you're like, "Kenny, we'll get it some other way."
Yeah, taking the time, the rental truck, like our chiropractor bills, carrying that stuff in,
Sure.
it adds up.
It would. It would. All right. So there's a lot of cool things that are happening in downtown Louisville, and Heaven's Door is the next one. So they plan to open the Last Refuge. It's going to be a whiskey bar and live music venue in the former Refuge of Kentucky Church at 600 East Market Street. The company has also purchased the Zephyr Gallery next door, which will showcase art from local artists as well as from Bob Dylan himself. Mark Bushala, who's the CEO of Heaven's Door, said the first floor of the over 150-year-old church, which totals around 20,000 square feet, will house a retail shop and also selling Heaven's Door's products and whiskeys, along with Dylan's albums and books. It will also carry items from local artisans like Clayton and Kroom and Wild Hats. The music venue will also be on the second floor, which was a sanctuary of the church. A gymnasium connected to the building will house the whiskey bar and restaurant. The property has also roughly a 4,000 square foot outdoor courtyard, and facilities will open in the two phases. The venue and the bar will open around September, with the gallery opening around 18 to 24 months after that. And I think I missed a few things in there. If I'm not mistaken, they are going to try to make this the biggest whiskey bar ever.
Really?
I mean,
Like
I
like
think
with
they,
bottles or just like size?
I think with bottles for sure. I think they're gonna try to go head to head with, your Jack Roses and your Watch Hill Propers and stuff like
Doc
that. I mean,
Rose.
they were talking like 5,000-8,000 bottles or
Well,
something
there's
like
no
that.
way they'll have the longest bar. That one at Burn Beyond
Yeah,
is
that one's a that oh that no that the world's longest bar, remember, is now at
at
Uncle Nearest.
Churchill, or no, it's an Uncle Nearest.
Remember, they took that crown. They got it Guinness World Record certified now.
Along with their other 5,000 awards.
Yes,
Five.
it's certified though.
Yeah, that I'm excited for that. It's a cool building. It's been sitting vacant for gosh a while. It used to be like a wedding venue. It was really cool, but I've known about this for a while. It's amazing how long, as we know, how long these things take. But yeah, it's awesome for downtown. It's cool. Nulu's a hopping area. If you haven't been downtown Nulu's a great spot. It'll be a great home for them. I was
Yep.
surprised, because I read that they looked at Nashville, and here I would have thought that it would have made more sense to be in Nashville because they're predominantly a Tennessee whiskey, right?
For the most part, that's what I understand. Yeah, I think they've got stuff from all over the place,
Sure.
but a lot of their stuff is Tennessee.
And but yeah, we're happy to have them part of the downtown experience and excited to check it out. I think it's gonna be a cool venue.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
Bob
think
Dylan will be there signing bottles.
maybe,
Probably
maybe, yeah, maybe once. We'll see. Once
Opening
we
day.
once we get our real podcast studio, we'll see if he'll be like, "Hey, Bob, come on over, hang out with us for a little bit."
Nah,
He won't.
We're below him.
It's okay. It's okay. That's one of those things. Celebrities really don't move the needle for the show for us. So it's not. I'm not chasing after him by any means.
They'd rather us talk about bourbon news.
I do. So let's keep going here. So this was kind of a big one, kind of a shocker. And Campari is planning to add a second distillery at Wild Turkey. So the company will invest $161 million and create 31 additional jobs in Anderson County. Campari Group will construct a brand new distillery at the Wild Turkey campus that will be designed to produce 5 million additional proof gallons of Wild Turkey bourbon annually. This will significantly increase the current capacity from 9 million to 14 million proof gallons. The new facility will locate next to the company's existing distillery. The project also entails an expansion to the wastewater treatment dry house process to increase processing capacity and also doubling the current dry house and waste treatment output. With this investment, Campari Group will also upgrade the current barrel filling operation to handle the increased volumes. The investment adds to the over $300 million in operation and expansion commitments already financed by Campari since the acquisition of the Wild Turkey Distillery nearly 14 years ago. And it's coming on the heels of another significant investment announced a few months ago with the acquisition of Wilderness Trail. The project is expected to break ground in October 2023 and completed by the end of July 2025.
It's a lot of Aperol spritz slinging.
Yeah, they must be making enough on the Aperol side to sit there and pump this in. I mean, I look at this and I'm thinking like, whew, I feel really good about the future of bourbon if they're putting this amount of investment
after
into
buying Wilderness Trail.
I know.
That's what you thought, like, okay, well, maybe, their Lawrenceburg campus, they don't have the room or they don't want to wait. And so that's why they're buying Wilderness Trail, for obviously the name, but also the capacity. But then this just shoots that argument down. So I guess bourbon's just beginning. You got all these major brands and corporations dumping be close to over a couple $1 billion now in investments. And so the future must be bright.
See, this is what I find interesting about it. It's like Wild Turkey 101 and a lot of the household names. It's not like there's a shortage of it. Like you can find it pretty much anywhere on the shelves you go. So I'm curious. It's like, are they going to scale this up to create other additional brands that are just under the Wild Turkey distilling company? Because I don't think you need more Wild Turkey 101 out there unless it's going to be international. And so that's what I said. I don't know why they didn't take this 161 million and go and find another brand or another distillery or something like that to go acquire, where they could, I guess you could say, not put all your eggs in one basket. Maybe back for a little term.
Well, I mean, they did acquire, Hallerhead, so you got to produce that. And then I guess you look at like, Rare Breed and Russell's Rye and Master's Keep and all these Russell, how many ever different Russells they're doing, I don't know. And I think I people have speculated on this, but I do think the European and Asian market's about to really start to embrace bourbon. You kind of get hints of it sometimes in Mark Brown's newsletter. But it just, there's so many whiskey drinkers over in Asia. It just takes a few, and it can gobble up what's all in inventory right now. So I think that just must be where it's going.
Would you like?
Because you're right. Domestically, I don't see a shortage of Wild Turkey or Rare Breed or even Russell's on the shelf. I mean, Russell Picks are obviously rare, but like Russell's the flagship. There's no shortage of it I can see anywhere.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. It's still 10-year age dated, correct?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so it's not like they're going to be increasing Russell's 10-year.
I mean, you go to say Europe. Like I was just there in Spain, and I mean, you had Wild Turkey, but you didn't see any Russells or any Rare Breed or any. So maybe that's the play too. Is like you start expanding those product lines elsewhere, just not that flagship 101.
Mm-hmm. Very true. I guess we'll see what's going to happen. I think there's a lot of things that should probably save that for a roundtable to try to figure out what do we see as the end game, not the end game, but I guess what's the card that they're playing right here. And yeah, I think that goes me back to that great episode we had. Oh crap! Why am I
Susan Wall?
Yes, thank you. With Susan Wall of Heaven Hill, thinking of like what do these companies see that we don't? And she made some really good concerns on what are the potential roadblocks that we could see, but right now it doesn't seem like there's a leak in the dam at all.
Nope, that's for sure. Lots of money being made and lots of being spent.
Yep. We know the feeling of spending money right now.
Yeah, we don't know the feeling of making it.
Very true. Go support your Bourbon Pursuit podcast and go get yourself a bottle of Pursuit United. There you go. That's the last little advertisement to say for that one.
That's right.
All right. So again, more stuff coming. Oh, there's one question here. Do you think Heaven Hill will eventually start making Elijah Craig barrel proof under 12 years of age? That's what somebody said on here. Yes, I think they will.
Yeah, that's coming soon.
There you go. Comingwhiskey.com.
I can't confirm or deny that, but pretty positive that's coming soon.
It has to. I mean, it's people are clamoring for it. They want it. I mean, when they dropped the 12 on Elijah Craig, everybody was mad for 3 months, and then nobody gives a shit anymore.
Yeah, and to be honest, I mean that expression at 8 to 14 years old is really good. So you can get some 8-year-old ones that are magical. You can get some 12-year, that as long as it's in between that 8 to 14, 8 to 12 year range, I'm perfectly fine with it. But I mean, I can't find. I don't see Elijah Craig barrel proof anywhere ever. Do you?
Nope.
You know where I don't see others? Bookers. I didn't realize people cleaned out Bookers these days. It's like
That's a recent phenomenon.
yeah,
Who was I talking? I was talking to one of our ambassadors. They were doing a tasting, and they said, yeah, they got a lot of foot traffic because people were there because there was a shipment of Bookers coming in, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought people were pissed at Bookers because they kept on raising the price, and it hasn't changed at all. And
since they start naming those badges, man.
I guess so, man. Yeah, for some reason, Booker's has really taken off.
Yeah, the same thing happened to me. I was doing a liquor barn training staff, and like 10 people came in asking for Bookers, and I was like, really? Like it was like the first. It
It's
was
in the
like the
box
first.
right over there, right?
It was like the first time, like 6 years ago, when somebody asked me to go if I could get a bottle of Blanton's, and I was like, yeah, duh. Nobody buys this shit. And then I go to the store, and they're like, what do you mean? Everybody buys it. I was like, oh, well, this shows what I know.
We're supposed to have our finger on the pulse, and
I know.
so far we've. But it's funny because like I do. I mean, I sit there and I look at the news articles, I look at Facebook forums, I look at all this stuff like day in day out, and nobody talks about Bookers, but there must be like a whole underground thing where people just gravitate towards it. But all right, we need a little bit of that magic dust on our side.
Yep.
That's all it's gonna take.
Just a little sprinkle.
Yep. All right, back to the news here. And back to more stuff coming to downtown Louisville. And so it's the official opening of Castle and Key 502. And this is happening in near Louisville's Whiskey Row. And it's located at the corner of 3rd Street and Liberty in downtown Louisville. And it's going to be opening officially on Thursday, April 6th, what happened last week. So sorry about that. So this is located within the Fall City Market in the Omni Hotel. So it's a satellite store. It's an extension of their home place where guests can enjoy Castle and Key signature cocktails, shop their local retailers, and take home a bottle of their renowned spirits. The store will offer tastings and specialty cocktails and an extension of the history, hospitality, and excellence in the spirits that Castle and Key is known for. Whether you're a seasoned bourbon drinker or newcomer, Castle and Key 502 has something for everyone, so don't miss out on this exciting addition to Louisville's Whiskey Row.
Yeah, it's a great location for that. Omni gets a ton of traffic. A lot of people stay there for business conventions. They host a ton of events. I mean, that it used to be a high end liquor store, and it just didn't work for whatever, because nobody ever was working there, and it was just kind of strange. But
I mean, there was a lot of stuff that was overpriced, if I remember
it
correctly,
was
too.
it was like, yeah, you had a bottle of Jefferson's there for like $150, and you're like, I can go to the liquor board and express get for half off,
Yeah.
a block down. But I think this will be a cool experience for people staying at the Omni, and something just cool and unique. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. So Scotland-based beverage brand owner Edrington has increased its shareholding in the Wyoming whiskey brand to 80%. So this U.S. whiskey brand, which is established in 2006, joined Edrington's growing whiskey portfolio in 2018 when the Scottish group took a 35% stake. Financial terms of the latest deal have not disclosed, but this is going to give Edrington majority control over Wyoming whiskey.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, they make good stuff. And has that aired yet? The Wyoming whiskey?
It has not. It has not. That's we've dropping the tea leaves there. We've got a with David DeFazio, one of the founders. We've got an episode with him coming out. It'll probably be another month or so, but it's got an amazing story towards the end. So I can't wait for everybody to hear that one.
Yeah, the whole story of that brand's it's a very interesting episode. I love that one. It was a ton of great stories and how that whole brand just came to life. And yeah, good for them. I mean, I think it's once again, you see these people. That's what's fascinating, is like you see these brands who like start to make traction, and then they just like, but they hit a wall, and like they have to sell to like get past that wall, to these bigger companies. And it's just like the bigger companies just keep winning because they just keep gobbling up the ones that, you know,
But
it's.
but here's the thing is that that's not a bad thing either
Oh
because
no, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's
yeah, I
just,
mean, a lot
it's
of these
just
bigger companies they have the infrastructure, and that's one of the things I remember when we talked to John Little, a smooth ambler, a long time ago about Pernod taking over for them, and he goes, "Yeah, I don't have to worry about HR and payroll and all this other stuff anymore. I just focus on whiskey again, right?" And I think that's probably what you get yourself back to in that sort of mindset as well.
no. I'm not saying a bad thing. It's just just the progression of every brand. It's like you make traction, you do, and then you sell.
Well, we'll see.
No, nobody wants those. That's
TBD one of these days, right? All right,
maybe our
let's keep.
great grandkids.
Yeah. We'll be already like a foot in the ground at that point.
Oh yeah, worm bait.
Yeah. All right, so Bourbon with Heart, it's Kentucky's first and only arts-focused bourbon charity. It's announced its newest art exhibit called Bow Tied Together. The exhibit will take place at the Galt House Hotel in downtown Louisville and will showcase 50 wooden bow ties, hand carved out of bourbon barrels and transformed into wearable art by 25 Kentucky area artists. Bourbon with Heart was founded by Morgan Hancock and prides itself on tying together artists with various backgrounds and areas of expertise to create works that are as unique as the artists who designed them. Like the perfect bourbon pairing, Bow Tied Together takes wooden bow ties, hand carved out of old bourbon barrels by U.S. military veterans from Cruise Customs, and marries them with local artists to create beautiful art for many to enjoy. The exhibit will open on April 1st, 10 days ago, sorry about that, at the Galt House, and that's the official hotel of Kentucky Derby, and will run throughout the city's famous Derby season.
Yeah, they just sent me my bow tie. For me.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Did you just like put white out on it and send it back?
No, because they said it was like for. Never mind, it's a bad joke.
Oh, because
It's like they made 25 for artists across the city, but it was a bad joke. Sorry.
okay, trying to say you're an artist, but you're not. You're a sandwich artist.
Yeah, I'm a podcaster artist, sandwich artist. Yeah, you want some mayo? Like a, like
No,
a half
you
jar and a few squeezes.
I gotta get extra. Can I get extra jalapenos on that one? I appreciate it.
Yeah. Here's your sheet of turkey.
Italian herbs and cheese. I'm sorry, we're all out tonight. I hate when I hear that. Like, I just wanted a good Italian BMT, and you're out of Italian herbs and cheese. Fine, give me the wheat.
That's it, right, Matt Layton. That's right. I'm a yard artist. I'm a lawn artist.
There you
Make it
go.
green.
All right,
Mine with AstroTurf on it.
there, perfect. Actually, that would probably be
Actually,
kinda
it's like a
cool.
chia pet. It's got. I don't know. This is going nowhere.
I mean, we'll see. Next year, we'll see if we can put in a small word for you to get maybe just the 26 bow tie. We're not gonna put it on display, but you can have it.
We feel sorry for you. Bow tie.
It's your pity bow tie.
That's right.
So this is from Give 270, who we've partnered with a lot recently for some other charity stuff. So they have announced the kickoff of its latest series of charity whiskey raffles, including round 7 of the weekly charity raffle Whiskey Wednesdays and a new 50, 40, 50 Bourbon Strong raffle event. So celebrating Give 270's 7th anniversary as a nonprofit, Whiskey Wednesday's birthday bash will provide ticket purchasers with five chances to win valuable bourbon prizes each week, with all proceeds from the raffles that benefit Give 270's mission to support community, economic, and workforce development through local giving. Each week, Give 270 will be giving away the grand prize of a bottle of Old Forester birthday bourbon, along with a Weller 12-year, Weller Antique, Weller Special Reserve, and a New Riff bourbon single barrel that they picked. Through the raffle, 12 bottles of Old Forester birthday bourbon from various years will be hidden behind 12 lockers, and when purchasing tickets, participants will be asked to choose a locker number. If their ticket is chosen during the raffle, they will be given the bottle of bourbon hidden behind the locker they selected. And the 50-450 Bourbon Strong raffle is set for April 26th at 8 p.m. and will feature 50 bourbon prizes, including 3 grand prizes, which include a 5-bottle set of Pappy, 6-bottle Weller Vertical, and 8-bottle set of Blanton's. All proceeds from the 50-450 Bourbon Strong raffle will go towards charities for Kentucky who work in cooperation with the University of Kentucky student athletes who will help promote fundraising for their name, image, and likeness for the benefit of worthy causes across Kentucky. And some participating charities include Ronald McDonald House of the Bluegrass, God's Pantry Food Bank, and Junior Achievement.
Nice. Is it Eric you're working with on this one? Eric Clemens?
No, I mean Kenny Rambo and a few other people on the back end. So we've been you don't see all the emails that I've
Oh
been
no,
doing.
no.
So yeah, so they've been gracious enough to work with us on getting some spots on the mid roll, or sorry, on the pre roll. So you're going to hear those as a part of the podcast as well. So if you're and I've talked to them on the phone too. They've got some really cool ideas on what they've been doing and how they've been able to. I mean, they've raised like I want to say close to like over almost $500,000 for charities or something like that now.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, they're doing a lot of cool stuff.
I love it. Let's keep it going. Keep pumping them people.
Yeah,
Keep funding money.
maybe 500,000's a lot. It maybe 250,000. Either way, I know it's in the six figures.
Incredible.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so this next one was another headline, and that's Sotheby's. They've unveiled the rare American whiskey selection of 1976 through 1982. It's an extraordinary and unique set of 5 prototype bottles that were created in the mid 1990s, and they represent the rarest American whiskey to ever be offered at auction. These bottles were originally produced as the prototypes for the world's, Ryan was just showing on camera, another rare American whiskey that has yet to be released yet. So
Sneak
these
peek for people.
Here you go. So these bottles were originally produced as the prototypes of the world's first collectible ultra premium U.S. whiskey series to be exclusively featured of closed distilleries in America. The project was the initiative of the Classic Kentucky Bourbon Company, which is a subsidiary of United Distillers in 1997. At the time, United Distillers, which is owned by Bernheim Distillery and Stitzel-Weller. On the point of the rare American whiskey selection project receiving approval for launch, United Distillers merged with another company, which was International Distillers and Vintners, to create United Distillers and Vintners, forming the spirits division of Diageo. At this point, the project was shelved and never to be revived. The original premise of the Rare American Whiskey Selection Project was to create an annual release of 5 very different barrel-proof, high-age statement whiskeys. The project got as far as bottling 2 examples of each of the selected whiskeys with prototype labels, but filled with the actual liquid to show the finished product as it would be sold. The whiskeys were tasted not with just in the UD, but will also by respected industry critics at the time. The 2 sets of liquid were split up, and ironically, one set was sent to Stitzel-Weller Distillery for safekeeping, while the other set remained at the company headquarters in the UK for the European market. Hence, it had 70 cl bottle sizes. It is believed that the set at the Stitzel-Weller Distillery was destroyed in the distillery fire, making this the set of the only one that still remains in existence. The series of whiskeys initially be released in a limited run of 6,000 bottles per release would have been a landmark in the history of premium whiskey, and the project would have preceded the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection by a number of years. And this is seen in the footprint of U.S. whiskeys in their collector circles and how it changes dramatically. These bottles represent not only ultra-rare liquid from the now closed distilleries, but a crucial element of the story of rare American history that has now gone untold. And so here are the 5 whiskeys. First is Old Quaker Indiana Corn Whiskey 21 year. It's a limited edition barrel proof at 65% ABV from 1976. And this is distilled, of course, in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. You had Stitzel-Weller.
MGP light whiskey.
Yep, here you go.
It all comes back.
It all comes back from 1976, right? So the next one is, of course, Stitzel-Weller Kentucky Straight Bourbon. It's a 17-year-old barrel proof at 53.5 ABV from 1980, of course, distilled in Shively. Taylor Williams Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, another 17-year-old barrel proof at 56% ABV, 1980, distilled in Jackson County, Kentucky. George T. Stagg Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey, 16-year-old barrel proof at 57%, 1981, distilled in Frankfort. And Buffalo Springs Kentucky Rye Mash Whiskey, limited edition, 15-year-old barrel proof at 62.5% from 1982, which was distilled in Franklin County, Kentucky.
Wow.
That was a lot to go through.
That was a monster press release.
Yeah, well, there was so much cool stuff in there. I felt like I had to talk about it. I mean, this is like a once in a lifetime kind of thing to own.
Yeah. I mean, has there been any values assigned to them?
I didn't even see like what the opening bid was going to be at, but it's nothing that I can afford. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Me either.
It's
Unless we get Town and Country to. You want to buy some rare whiskeys?
I got this idea. Hear me out. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
You ever heard of light whiskey from Indiana? It's been lost in the UK.
This one's from 1976. It's got to be different.
And Stag, you just thought it was bourbon, but nope, they got a rye.
I'm so glad we have people on the chat. So Joe says it's currently at 42,000 pounds on Sotheby's right now. So I guess in American dollars, it's a little bit more, right? Because the American dollar is a little better. So maybe like close to $50,000.
Don't know. I'm not current on my exchange rates right now.
I remember it used to be the opposite way. We'd go over there and like a pound you'd
Oh
lose
yeah,
money,
it's
but
like
now
$1.35, $1.40.
yeah, now I think it's about even, or the dollar might be a little bit stronger. I'm not too sure.
Gotcha. Well, I'm sure somebody will enjoy it. Not
Yeah,
us.
yeah. Let's keep going. It's 2 weeks of news. We still have more to go through here. So, if everybody remembers the Virginia Alcoholic Beverage Control, where people were accused of stealing and doing inside information, well, the two Virginia men accused of it to give bourbon collectors a heads up on where to get rare bottles, they are not going to face any jail time after both pleaded guilty to one felony charge relating to computer trespassing. Robert Adams is a Hampton Roads man whom authorities say he sold internal ABC liquor data to people he met in online groups of bourbon hunters. He was sentenced on March 20th to 1 year of incarceration, but with all that time was suspended as long as he maintains good behavior. And Edgar Garcia, who's a former ABC employee accused of working with Adams, made a similar plea last year and received a suspended sentence of 2 years. Neither case went to a full trial in Hanover Circuit Court, and authorities dropped several charges against both men to secure guilty pleas.
Yeah, I'm torn on this one. It's like they're idiots, but you don't want them to serve jail time, but you want them to have something. I don't know.
Well, I think that's enough. Like
Yeah,
they've been smeared in online press and probably in local groups. I think that's probably enough for doing something like this. I don't think you should serve jail time. I mean, golly, I know, I get it. It's bourbon, and you didn't use power that you had to. I mean, you took advantage of the power that you did have, and it's not right because of whatever. But man, to send somebody to jail for that, I'd be like, it's the most white collar crime ever.
yeah, I agree. Can't send to jail.
Yeah, I know.
But so you think the smearing's just enough, or just a bad reputation,
Well,
or do
yeah.
most
I
people
mean,
care? There's people.
dude.
No.
I mean, I remember Edgar. If I remember, he was a young guy. He was in his 20s. Like what do you think's gonna happen when he goes and finds another job? Anybody's gonna go and Google him. It's the first thing that's gonna come up, and it's gonna live with him forever. I think that's. I mean, that's something that's gonna be hard to get past.
Or are they like,
It's
hey, can you give me some pappy?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
Yep.
Oh man. Okay. Well, thank you
Moving
for
on.
that. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. We hadn't talked about RTDs in a while, and I figured we had to.
Because
Of
it's been
course,
2 weeks.
it's
It's
been
been
two
off.
weeks. Absolutely. So, American singer and actress Jennifer Lopez has launched her own line of RTD bottled cocktails. So, of course, she goes by the name of J Lo, and she's created what's called the House of Delola. It's a company that will roll out premium spirits-based bottled cocktails made with natural botanicals. Delola Spritz is the first cocktail release under the brand and is available in 3 flavors of Bella Berry Spritz, made with berry hibiscus and vodka, Paloma Rosa Spritz, and that's some tequila, La Orange Spritz, made with passion fruit and amaro. And this is where it gets interesting. So Jim Beam, owner of Beam Suntory, is the minority investor in Delola and has been named Delola's global distribution partner in Delola Spirits. And these are available in 375 ml and 750 ml in embossed glass bottles. They'll be rolled out in the U.S. later this month. Now, say what you want about this. That's great. Another celebrity getting into it. And then I saw another news article that came out where fans are absolutely outraged and disgusted. You know why? Because Jennifer Lopez is sober. So she doesn't even drink. And what she said she does is she has like a small sip as a celebration, but people are saying like she's a fraud, she's a cop out, she's just a money grab with this. And so it's interesting to see how her fans have kind of turned on her.
Yeah. I'm kind of with the fans. It's like something you're truly passionate about wanting to offer. I'm not saying she needs to. I don't know. It's probably just another money grab. But
I
J
mean,
Lo's got to be worth so much. It's like, why does she need to do this? Like, it's why. Like, why?
well,
And
here's the thing: is that
who?
there's plenty. I mean, if she's all into the non-alcoholic movement stuff like that, there's ways that you can get into creating, non-alcoholic cocktail mixes and done
Well,
the same
you
exact
can be like
thing. You
Jack
didn't
Harlow, get focus water.
see exactly.
You can
You
get
could have
locust
done
water. I don't know.
that. Locust water.
Stupid.
Ugh, 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 ugh. Who knows? I mean, you'll be maybe singing at the top of your lungs after it. Who knows?
Yeah, I bet they're tasty. It sounds refreshing for a poolside drink or something.
I mean,
It's hot out.
if they send me a bottle, I'll give it a go. I mean,
I
I'm
mean,
still gonna watch your movies. Of course, I'm gonna watch those movies. They're rom coms. I can't get enough.
yeah. Living Color. Wasn't she on Living Color or something?
I don't know about that. Uh, and then somebody else is talking in here too. So of course, Ben Affleck, he had his own problems and struggles with alcohol over the years too, and I think he's sober now. So it's just it's a weird thing to get into.
Speaking of Affleck, that Air movie was incredible. I thought it was so good. I hope people feel the same way, but I think it made me. We got to go find our Michael Jordan for our brand. I don't. I don't know
We
who
are
it
the
is.
all right. We are Michael. Maybe I'm Dennis Rodman and you're Michael.
No, you're like Bill Paxton. Or something.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna call you Charles Barkley then.
I'll take Charles for sure, but I'm more like I don't even know who is on that team. No, 'cause I can't be Steve Kerr. I'm just I'm like Will Purdue or something. I
There
don't know.
you go. Just to
Yeah,
figure out like who is the least amount of contribution.
that's right.
All right, here's our last news story before we get into our break here. So there's a new app coming out, and it's called the Kentucky Hug, and it's going to streamline the booking of distillery experiences coming in June. So immersed in the industry with this is coming from Eddie Fieldhouse III. So he was immersed in the industry with his marketing role in the family-owned and operated Pegasus Transportation, and he witnessed for years how logistically challenging it is for travelers to enjoy Kentucky's rapidly growing bourbon offerings. Not only that, but the industry itself has no idea who these travelers are, since often it's one person booking a tour for an entire group. He knew something had to change and felt uniquely positioned to do something with the help of the bourbon industry growth to streamline its process and better understand its visitors. With kyhug.com, travelers can choose their own adventure, building a building a bourbon country itinerary and buying tickets to its various distilleries on and off the official bourbon trails in one fell swoop. The Kentucky Hug works with distilleries to centralize their various bourbon experiences and available tickets and allows users to plan and book those experiences all in one place, again, according to the website. The Kentucky Hug will also provide the most accurate and holistic picture of where visitors are spending their time and money, capturing valuable information about each visitor attending an experience and not just a single credit card holder.
I really like this idea because
It's needed.
it is needed very much. Um, yeah, I'm excited for this. I think it's brilliant. I think it's going to take some time. I think they said it won't be ready till like fall, maybe.
They said June is when the website will be up, but they're looking to launch an app later in the year or something like that.
Gotcha. But yeah, it's very much needed because you go on these sites and it's just kind of confusing and just not as intuitive as like Open Table or Resi is or something like that. So I
Well, it's
think it's
beyond
brilliant.
that because we live here, so we know. We know that if you want to go to Four Roses and you can go to Heaven Hill in one day, that's the bad move. But
Right.
most people don't know that unless you sit there and you're looking at a Google map and you're trying to figure out how to map and plan it all out. And if you book something at 9 a.m. at Heaven Hill and you're trying to figure out what to go, or you're just like, you're like, okay, well, this is open. Then you go and you try to find something else. You come back and that 9 a.m. spot's gone. And you're probably just getting flustered, just trying to figure out how to plan this trip. I know it's been a pain point for a lot of people when they come to town. I literally got a Facebook message last week when I was on vacation saying like, "Hey, I'm going to be in town next week, and there's nobody that has any distillery tours open. Can you help us out?" I'm like, "No, man. Like, I cannot help you out with that." And that's one of
Yeah.
those things that I hopefully this solves a lot of those problems.
Yeah. Somebody sent me their itinerary and they're like, "Do you think this is doable?" I was like, "Do you have a helicopter?" because that's the only way you're making it. They're like, we're gonna go to Louisville, then we're gonna go to Buffalo Trace, then over to Bardstown, then back to Louisville, then back to Frankfurt, then back to. It's like what?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be really excited to see this thing come out. It'll be interesting how they make a profit off of it as well. I'm sure that you'll be able to add something on to the tours that already charge stuff. But when you look at things like Buffalo Trace, and they don't charge for tours, like how do you include that into there?
Well, they're not gonna be a part of it anyways. They hate everyone.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Who knows? They might turn something on to this, because I'm sure that they. Actually, you're right. Who knows? Because they don't have a problem selling their tickets. Why would they need another
They're not
avenue?
gonna get a cut to an app. That's
True.
whereas like Open Table and all those, I think they take like
Yeah, they take
I
part
don't
of something
well, you pay a monthly fee to be on the you know
on platform.
on the platform, and then it's $1 per reservation or something. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll pay $1 to make it easier for people to schedule an experience. I think
Hell
you
yeah.
make a good experience out of it. But hey, that's gonna do it for the first half. Stick around. We got some bourbon release news still to come up.
Oh boy, 50 minutes in.
Welcome back, everybody. It's bourbon release news time, and we've got we'll say 5 to 6 of them.
Oh boy,
I know.
I won't. I'll leave my commentary minimal.
Well, at least we don't have to get into politics or bow ties or anything like that in this one.
Yeah, let's do it. All
There
right.
we go. The Dancing Goat Distillery is proud to present their sourced whiskey inventory, and they have 4,500 barrels of uniquely aged whiskey stocks. And this multi-year series will feature 16 mash bills with ages ranging from 6 to 21 years, composed of multiple vertical series, boundary bending blends, and one-off releases. The Dancing Goat Presents collection will highlight our blending and finishing skills as they patiently wait to share their own aged distillates. The first Dancing Goat Presents release will be a 21-year-old light whiskey, bottled non-filtered at 126.4 proof, and has a limited quantity of 36 bottles, which will be available on a first-come, first-served basis at the Dancing Goat Distillery at 6 p.m. on March 30th for $200. Distillery visitors will also have the opportunity to pre-market purchase for their second Dancing Goat release, which is a 7-year port-finished rye coined I Would Rye for You. And that's the second release that will be made available online in Wisconsin and Illinois later in April.
All right. Well, Dancing Goat's trying to replicate the United Distillery collection.
Yeah, just 36 bottles. It's not a whole lot put out there.
It's a leaker.
Yeah, it is. Actually,
I actually want to try that. I love corn whiskey. So 21 years is probably pretty good.
it didn't say it's corn whiskey. It just said it's light
Well,
whiskey.
It's corn whiskey.
Well, then bourbon's corn whiskey.
No, it's not.
Well, it's just
Because bourbon's touched a new charred oak barrel.
okay.
Corn
Well, this
whiskey
is touching
hasn't.
a used, but
Right.
all
So
right,
it's
fine.
corn whiskey.
You want to get into semantics then?
It's most light whiskey's corn whiskey.
All right, you want
Whatever.
to split hair? Yeah, so is bourbon. Bourbon's a corn whiskey that touched a new bourbon barrel. New barrel. Now it's called bourbon. So it's still corn whiskey. You just call it what you want.
Yeah, right.
It's Jack
whatever.
Daniel's bourbon.
We're
You wanna
never
go-
gonna get through this.
You want to go there? All right, let's keep going here. And actually, I will say, I do have it down here. They actually sent the 21-year and the 7-year port, so we can try that sometime. I believe I already opened the 21-year. It's pretty good.
See,
I'm just letting you know. All right. So Lawrenceburg Bourbon Company's anticipated second release drops this week, and is the 10 by 10 as a small batch rye whiskey that is made from 10 hand-selected barrels, each aged at least 10 years. And Lawrenceburg Bourbon's 10 by 10 is 100% rye, going to the bottle at 122.1 proof. Lawrenceburg Bourbon Company is 100% service-disabled, combat veteran-owned and operated, and founder and wannabe distiller Greg Keeley is a retired Navy combat vet with service in both Iraq and Afghanistan. I don't have any proof. Well, actually, I do have proof. I just don't have any price. But there you go. If you like it, head on out to Lawrenceburg on your way out to Wild Turkey, or maybe on your way back from Wild Turkey, or they just go out just for that. I don't know.
had a successful first release. I think it all sold out within a few hours. So
It sure did. Sure did.
Yep.
So hats off. So here's, I guess people should be excited for this one. People are clearing out Booker's. You might as well start clearing out Knob Creek, because they have announced the addition of an age statement to their well-loved Kentucky Straight Rye whiskey. So the update to the brand's core rye expression will offer fans the same Knob Creek rye taste profile that they know and love, but with a now guaranteed to be aged for a minimum of 7 years. It's 100 proof and $37 SRP.
Incredible. I love Knob Creek rye. I'm not gonna lie, stuff's good.
Yep. And even more 7-year rye whiskey. Wilderness Trail is releasing their 7-year rye whiskey in the gift shop. It's going to be a limited quantity, and there'll be some in Kentucky stores, but the Bottled and Bond rye whiskey, also at 100 proof, will feature Kentucky-grown heritage rye and has an SRP of $75.
I love Wilderness Trail rye, too.
There we go. You want to talk about some more 7-year rye whiskey?
Yeah.
I don't have any. I'm just messing with you here.
It's like 3 in a row.
I know. It would have been crazy, wouldn't it? But this is something that actually it just happened this past week. So if you're looking for it, it's probably all gone. And that's because Maker's Mark, they have their Keeneland commemorative bottles. They return to the shelves across the Bluegrass State. This happened on Friday, April 7th. And this is also the opening day of the Keeneland Spring Meet. Less than 10,000 of the limited edition bottles of bourbon will be available, and generally they sell out in one day. And this is with a strategic partnership with Lex Arts and Greater Lexington's premier cultural development, advocacy, and fundraising organization. And the proceeds from this year's commemorative bottles release will benefit the creation of a permanent public art legacy project. And miniature bronze horses will be creatively placed throughout downtown Lexington to create an interactive tour that heralds the past and present stories of Kentucky culture. For the third year, the commemorative bottle will showcase 3 distinct label designs featuring the work of artists Sandra Oppegard, Andre Pater, and Tyler Robertson. The label art depicts winning jockeys from the 2022 Breeders' World Cup Championship held at Keeneland.
Do you get a braided belt with it too? Like all the frat boys wear.
It's cross stitch. Okay, it's not
cross
braided.
Stitch. Yeah, cross stitch, whatever.
You braid hair.
All you
cross
frat
stitch
boys.
on the. I got my cross stitch, man.
I know you do. You're that's why your number's still Kenny Comb over.
I haven't worn it in a long time, okay, but I do have one. But there was a fashion trend back then, and it still kind of is for a little bit of the frattiness that's out there and
you and
whatnot.
your brother Blake Reber.
Yeah, Blake's
fratty.net.
I see Blake rocking that and his penny loafers all the time.
Heck yeah, he's got
that country club lifestyle, right?
That's right. Brooks Brothers model.
All right, so the next one here is that Proof and Wood Ventures. They've launched a limited edition whiskey that touches several continents and countries. The Globe is a rye whiskey. It was distilled in Poland in 2013 from a mash bill of 100% rye. And this was it was first aged in French oak barrels, then transported to Kentucky and aged in former bourbon barrels. After a total of 8 years, the rye was then transferred to barrels previously containing Jamaican pot still rum. The rye then finished in these barrels for over another year before being bottled at 99 proof. The Globe has a suggested retail price of $80 and will be soon found on shelves in over 30 states around the country.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's just barrels and finishes and cool stuff. I don't know. We'll see if we ever see a bottle. Look at you in the chat saying I had the meanest comb over back in the day.
You did. A lot of what's that?
Don't you dare say gel. I never heard the word gel.
Diff cream or whatever. All those Don Draper used to use.
I never used cream, man. It was all just like I don't think I used any product back then. It was just I just had a lot of waves and a lot of hair just kind of going to the side, man.
Bama Bangs.
Oh, Matthew Layton pomade. No, I didn't use pomade, man. I just had Friday hair way back in the day.
Axe.
Yeah. Actually, going back and looking at the pictures, I looked like a doofus.
We all do. Gosh,
yeah.
I look at pictures back then and I'm like, how did my wife get with me? I look terrible.
Like
Not
my
that I look
pants
better now, but
my pants were so baggy. Like I dressed terrible.
I know.
It's one of those things. Like he's a work in progress. I'll fix him. I'll make him my own.
He's a project. He's a nice project.
Evan dropped the curly stash Kenny for anybody that doesn't know.
Oh
when
boy!
We first started this podcast, and I had my handlebar mustache. That was a phase.
That was a rough few months for you, buddy.
I mean, my wife still won't really live that down because pretty much the first year of my daughter's life is just me and that stupid damn mustache. Like all the pictures.
I don't know how she ever like kissed you or anything. That thing.
Didn't I stabbed her? Just poked her in the side like Captain Hook.
Yeah.
All right. Here's our last news article. Widely known and respected for random acts of generosity and kindness, as well as delivering gifts of rare bourbons to the Pope, Father Jim Sitchko marks the 10-year anniversary of the election of Pope Francis with a rare release of 10-year Willet. The limited release of 125 bottles is available via an online auction and raffle at Ernie's Spirits on Harrodsburg Road in Lexington, Kentucky. The limited release is a result of a blind barrel tasting conducted by Father Jim, Bishop John Stowe, who's a bishop of Lexington, Tim Mapes, he's the vice president of Delta Airlines, Jim Allen, who's the vice president for the Atlanta Braves, Matt Morris of the Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA, along with master distillers Drew Colesveen and single barrel specialist Josh Devitt. The group was selected a truly rare spirit, 132.6 bourbon, 132.6 proof bourbon from a barrel filled in January 2013. The 10-year bourbon was distilled using the OG recipe and was stored on the 4th out of 5th levels in Warehouse A to make the bourbon even rarer and the container a collector's item. The Willett family placed a papal seal and the coat of arms of Pope Francis on the bottle. Father Jim hopes to have Pope Francis personally sign bottle number 1, and all proceeds collected from this limited release will go to assisting the ministry of being a papal missionary of mercy. Donations for the rare release begin at $1,000, and the online auction and raffle can be accessed at www.fatherjims.com. That's FRJIMS.com. Raffle tickets are $100 each, and 3 bottles will be included in the raffle.
I want to buy one of these. This is pretty cool. I want one.
I thought it was kind of cool to have the coat of arms of Pope Francis on the bottle.
That's pretty sweet. I mean, because have you been to like the Basilica and all that?
I have been to Italy. I have been there. Yes,
that's got to be so cool though for like Drew and their whole family. Like that's gonna be a part of like the whole. That's awesome. I love it for them.
Yeah,
I want one of these. I'm gonna sign up for this.
Do you think they had to get rid of the Willett family crest and put the papal seal on there instead?
Probably, but I would too.
Do they just have to make it and like really like we're just gonna put this on the back side of the label? Like we don't need the Willett family seal on there anymore. But I'm sure it's a really cool bottle. Actually, I'm gonna look at it right now. All right, frjims.com. I mean, we're already at an hour, so might as well just freaking keep going here, right?
Yeah, I want to see.
Okay, there it is. All right, so it actually is still the same Willett.
Same one.
But they just all it is
What's
just
on the back?
It's just a sticker on the back. All right, I kind of thought it was
Pope gets a sticker. Thought the stickers were. No, I'm kidding.
well, it's all fun and games, but until a Pope does it, then we're okay.
The Pope on here looks thrilled on this picture. He's like, "What is this?"
He's like, "A bottle of bourbon. Thanks, man.
I've got bigger problems to solve."
Nah, I think it's really cool though.
No, I love this. I'm seriously gonna buy one right now. So
get yourself a raffle ticket.
If you see something come through on the BP card,
that's what it goes to.
Yeah,
I'm okay. Well, if we win it, we have to open it though.
Oh, totally.
Or do we take it around and get it blessed by like 10 priests around here?
Well, I'm going to Italy in May. For Tiffany's 40th birthday, so I'll take it, get it signed by the Pope himself.
What about this? What if you beat Father Jim to Italy to get it signed?
Like, gotcha.
And then you sell it.
Yep.
No, I'm just kidding. But that's gonna do it for this week in bourbon. Man, that was a this is what happens when you get 2 weeks of news to catch up on.
No more double vacations.
Yeah, exactly. That's a lot. It's a lot.
Yep.
But cheers, everybody. Make sure you come and check out Ryan and I and all those places, and we'll keep you updated on all those sorts of good things too. And don't fast forward through the commercials before the show or during the middle, because we do announce a lot of things we're doing during then as well. So make sure you listen to that. But with that, cheers, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Toodles.
And bye, everybody in chat.
See you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.